What's going on, guys? I'm right now making phone calls here in my office. This is another vlog, I guess, another talking heads, but right now this is kind of the life of a real estate agent. Right now I'm in my office, home office here. I haven't given you guys a tour. Right now, this is a sit-stand desk right here that you could take a look at and see. And then I have the backdrop to all my talking head videos, but right now it's day in the life of a real estate agent. Kind of a day in the life of a real estate agent. I'm not gonna go like full on like real estate home property tours. This is what I used to make my phone calls, but I will talk about the real estate market and kind of what it's doing right now, at least here in San Diego County, just because it's a weird market. So welcome back, another video. This one I'm doing and I'm testing out a new lens that I am really excited to be using. This is a anamorphic lens, which if you don't know what that is, it's a wider lens, more cinematic, I guess. And I'm gonna start using this lens for home tours, which I will be the first one. Nobody else is using anamorphic lens, either for vlogging or for property tours. So stay tuned for those. All right, we're back. This time it's a little bit different because it's kind of like a vlog, but I'm talking about the real estate market, but it's not in my office. You saw a little bit about what I was doing in my office this morning. I was making phone calls. I try to make them every single day, but it's not easy when you have kids and it's a summer break, and any parent out there, you guys get me. And I have a home office. I work from home. I have a actual office, but I never go because it's too far away and the commute and whatnot. Anyways, I just work better from home, to be honest. Today I want to talk to you guys about the market, the real estate market, specifically, and not specifically, I guess, what I'm seeing here in San Diego. If you don't know me, or if it's first time on the channel, my name is Manuel Sanchez. I'm a real estate agent here in San Diego. I'm with the agency brokerage based out of La Jolla, but I work all over San Diego. Just to give you guys an idea, right now I have 4 listings. One's in Coronado, one's in La Jolla, one's in Carmel Valley, and the other one's in Mission Beach. So I'm all over the place. But anyways, talking about the real estate market, it's weird. I don't want to say it's bad. I don't want to say it's good. It's just weird. And what I mean by the real estate market being weird is that typically real estate is a slow bleed. You kind of see when changes are occurring, you kind of see them happening. Whether it's interest rates going up, even though they went up from back in 2022 back in 2022 to 2023, they went up the most amount in the shortest amount of time. Even having said that, that took them about 3 to 4 months to bring up interest rates from an average of 2.5% all the way up to 4.5%, 5%. So typically real estate is a slow bleed. Everything takes a little bit of time. But right now, what I can't put my finger on is that it changes on a daily basis. It's almost become like stock. And I think it's related, and it has a lot to do with everything that's going on politically, as far as tariffs go, as far as stocks goes, where one day they'll see the most amount of gains, and then the next day, trillions of dollars are wiped off the stock market with a single tweet from our president. So it's like, and again, I don't want to make this political, because it's not, and because homes are still selling. It's not like they're not selling. Buyers are still buying. Sellers are still selling, especially in a town like San Diego, where it's a military town. We do see an uptick on, people moving out, people moving in, right? But what I have seen as far as my listings goes, and my listings, they're all luxury listings. So here in San Diego, anything above 1.2 million is considered luxury real estate. Obviously, other places like New York and LA, that changes, right? Luxury means a whole different thing over there. I think LA or New York luxury is like 3 million. Anyways, everything works really different out there. But what I have been seeing is just a slower market. Things are taking longer to sell. You have to be more creative as far as your marketing goes, placing it in front of the right people, people who are actually actively looking for homes just like yours. And pulling offers has become, you know, way, I'm not going to say hard, but way more you have to have a tactic behind it. And look, buyers, as far as, they're not going to buy if they don't want to buy. There's nothing in the world that you can say or do that will convince them to buy. And I've told my buyers this, you know, people that I've worked with on the buy side, I say, hey, and they've asked me all the time, when's the best time to buy? I said the best time to buy is when you can afford it. If you can afford a house in today's market, whether it's your first house, your second house, your third one, or investment property, do it. That is the best time to buy a house. Don't let the market dictate whether you buy or sell. Your personal situation, your personal finance, your personal real estate goals should dictate when you buy and sell. So, having said that, I think it's just taking a little bit longer, more creative as far as the list side goes, to putting the house out there. Really, and this is what I love to do. I'm not saying that it's hard now. It takes longer, and sellers need to understand that we are no longer in 2022 market. We are no longer in this market where you list it, you get multiple offers, it sells the first weekend. Even though that sounds great, we're no longer in that market, which is both good and bad. Why is this good? Why is it good to not sell a house in the first weekend? Well, because typically if you sell it the first weekend, you as an agent don't get the exposure, don't get the chance to promote the house. And it's not good because you typically start hiring people who have lower commission rates, and by that, then you're not getting the actual service. And look, there's, at least here in San Diego, there's about a little under 30,000 agents, real estate agents in San Diego County. There is about 18,000 agents that have left the business in the past 2 years, which is crazy. And the reason is that because now it's not as easy as it used to be. There's relatively low inventory. What does low inventory mean? It means that it becomes a seller's market, right? But that's not the case, which is why I'm saying it's a weird market. Just because there's low inventory doesn't mean it's a seller's market. It's actually, right now, it's a market correction. So because interest rates are still relatively high, around 7%, and home prices have not come down significantly where, you know, it makes sense to buy at 7%. It's a market that's balancing out. It's a market correction. This is very normal. Nothing to be surprised of. It happens all the time. It happens about every 4 or 5 years where it's a buyer's market, then turns into a seller's market. Right now, there's some areas of San Diego County, like Coronado, for example, and I know this because I study every market I have a listing in, and I study the general San Diego market. Coronado right now is 100% a buyer's market. There's a lot of inventory in Coronado, which is, again, it's quite normal to see going into summer. That's when everything starts ticking up, because San Diego doesn't really have seasons, meaning it doesn't have like snow in the winter and, like, you know, weird seasons in the fall and spring and whatnot. We typically have really good weather year round. We have the school season, which is, we base everything around the school year. So now that schools are out, graduations are coming to an end, we start seeing an uptick in people saying, okay, we need to move, we need to sell, we need to buy. I have really positive outlook on this summer. But again, it just has become longer to sell. So sellers need to realize, hey, we're not in that market anymore. Nothing's going to sell, you know, really, really quickly in the first weekend, unless you price it correctly. And you have to be really, 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 really smart about how to price your home effectively from the very get-go. What I mean by that is you don't want to have a ton of, you know, price adjustments. You want to price it correctly. Since the very beginning, it'll attract the most amount of people, it'll attract the most amount of buyers, the most amount of eyes, the most amount of traffic coming through your home. So you don't want to have a property that's overexposed, that's becomes stale, they have price adjustments, and then buyers start wondering, hey, what's wrong with the house? How come it hasn't sold? How come you have more price adjustments? And when you do have price adjustments, then guess what? They think there's more coming. And so they just wait and wait and wait. So that's kind of my word of advice for sellers. Now, when it comes to buyers, take advantage of this market. Homes are not overpriced. You just have to negotiate the right way. You just have to come in with a strong offer. And what I mean by that doesn't necessarily mean coming in at full ass. It means structuring an offer where it makes sense both for you and for the seller as well. So there's also 2-1 buy downs that you can take advantage of. This obviously, the seller needs to be on board with this, but what is a 2-1 buy down? A 2-1 buy down is you paying upfront the interest rates of your home for the next 2 years. Now upfront for the next 2 years. Now, by doing this, you get interest rates. Let's just say if it's at 7%, the first year you would get it at 5%, and the second year you would get it at 6%. This is really, really good. Why? And the whole idea behind a 2-1 buy down is that in 3 years, when this whole program or the 2-1 is over, and the idea is that interest rates will be lower in 3 years. By then, you refinance, and it all makes sense, right? Obviously, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what the interest rates will be in 6 months or 3 years. So that is what a 2-1 buy down is. That is my word of advice for buyers. Take advantage of this market. I'm not saying sellers are desperate, but sellers are willing to negotiate. Sellers are willing to give out incentives as far as either for repairs or a 2-1 buy down. And sellers are also willing to incentivize as far as paying commissions to the buyer's agent. So buyers, take advantage of this market. Like I said, it's a weird market, but don't take that too hard. Don't say it's weird. It's hard to put your finger on, what's going on because of the stock market. Everything seems like it's revolved around, stock. And like I said, real estate is typically a slow bleed. You typically see things coming from a mile away. Not in today's market. It's not in everything that's going on right now. Our president can tweet something and everything, trillions of dollars get wiped off the stock market, and then he tweets something else and then everyone's buying again. So it changes on a day-to-day basis, but that shouldn't stop you from either selling or buying. Trust me, real estate is the best investment you can make. And everyone has different goals. Some people need a bigger place. Some people, want a smaller place, a single floor, 2 stories, the extra bedroom, for in-laws. Whatever the case is, everyone's story is different. So that's my 2 cents for the day. Let me know if you have any questions about the market, about, the home buying process, the home selling process, and make sure to visit my website. There's a ton of new information on there. I just revamped my whole website. It is amazing. I love it. I think people are really enjoying it. Sellwithmanuel.com. Again, if this is your first time following me, my name is Manuel Sanchez. I'm a real estate agent here in San Diego. Make sure to hit the like, subscribe. All my information is down below, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.